Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Technical Analysis the Unbiased View. So in today's episode quickly we're going to have a look at Bank Nifty and Nifty. The reason behind making this video on Bank Nifty and Nifty is that both the indexes are showing a very different character. All right. Usually in our markets it is not quite often where the Bank Nifty is showing a very different structure and the Nifty showing you a very different structure. So, what are these structure and what are the hints or what are the things which are we're going to discuss in the video, which is going to tell us about that how and why the market is going to be a very volatile market, a very confusing market for that purpose, right? So let's jump on to Bank Nifty very quickly. So this is Bank Nifty futures. In Bank Nifty futures, you have to divide or you have to see the two trends. The one which you are seeing in this particular color, right? And the second, you can see something in the black color. Now, the black color is starting from here and ending over here. And this particular trend, which is your pink color trend, is starting from here and ending here, right? So you have to distinguish these two trend. Now, having said that, this is the top which Bank Nifty made, and this is the latest or the last top which Bank Nifty made. So it's a lower highs as well as a lower low. So if you consider this 5 months trend, 5 or 5.5 months trend, Bank Nifty is in a downward channel. Correct? It's making the top, it is making the low, then the lower high, and then the lower low, and somewhere over here right now. If you see both the trends, if you see both the trends, right? Okay, let me explain you this particular trend first. So we have discussed the 5 months trend, which is a downward trend. The second trend is the very important, the latest top what Bank Nifty has made and the latest lowest low which Bank Nifty has made currently. Correct. Now, if you see both the trends, correct, the 5 month trend and this particular trend, we are also having a 50% of both the trends. So the 50% is shown in the dotted lines, right? The 50% of both the parallel channels are showed in a dotted lines, right? So what is the use of this 50% channel? The reason behind showing and portraying this 50% is currently on Friday when the Bank Nifty closed, it closed below the 50% of both the trends. It closed the 50% below the 50% of both the trends. Correct? That is A. B. You see this area 35,681 to 36,681, which is marked in the red color band, which looks like a sideways zone. This is the trend decider for the Bank Nifty as far as the downward or the upward movement is concerned. Whenever Nifty is going above 36,681, it is making a very steep high. Correct? Or whenever the Bank Nifty recently has crossed below 35,681, it has gone very steeply down. And when I say steeply down, from this area, the journey of the Bank Nifty at either side is close to 3,000 points. Correct? 3,000 points. So as you can see, this particular area, which is a big pin bar, the moment the demand came from here, which is also these supports, right? You see the Bank Nifty took the support of the body or the high of the pin bar again in the same area, again in the same area, and eventually it broke the support. And when it broke the support, it went as good as more than 3,000 points, right? And when Bank Nifty moved above the highs of the same pin bar of this area, 35,681 to 36,681, you see it took a support and went upward almost 3,008 points, right? Now, the second thing which we have to also look into Bank Nifty, it is just not closed below the 50% of the both the trends, it is also closing below the to 20, 60, and 200 exponential moving average. 20s we are considering as good as the monthly. We have a 20 trading sessions. 60 is as good as 2 months, and 200 is as good as 52-week or yearly bandwidth. So Bank Nifty is closing below the 50% of the both the trends, as well as it is closing below 2016 200 exponential moving average. Correct? So having a neutral view, Bank Nifty is showing a very less strength in the structure. Correct? And another point which we have to see in the chart is the lows of the Friday. The lows of the Friday is coinciding with the previous this areas, right? So eventually, since it closed below the 50% of two trends and closed below the 2016 200 EMA, if it breaks the low, so this is the area where we have to make a view for the coming week expiry, right? Now, what on the other hand, what Nifty is doing, Nifty is above 2060 and 200 EMA, correct? So this black is 200 EMA, right? This blue color is your 20 EMA, and the red is your 60 EMA. So what we saw in Bank Nifty, what we saw in Bank Nifty, the Bank Nifty is below 2060 200, and Nifty is above 2016 200. This characteristics in the index within the index itself, since the Bank Nifty has 36%, more than 36% weightage in Nifty 50, right? You have SBI, you have Bajaj, you have HDFC, you have Kotak. So this kind of a very different characters is not quite often seen in our market, not quite often seen in our market. So this is not a usual scenario as of now, correct? And if you see the structure analysis, again, likewise we discussed in Nifty, this particular trend, again have used the same color, the pink or the black, correct? The Nifty 50 is above the 50% of both the channels. It is above the 50% of 5 month channel, as well as it is above the 50% of the last top which it made and the latest bottom which it made, correct? So Nifty is above the 50% of both the trends, this and this dotted line, the 50% of the both the trends. So Nifty is consolidating above the 50% over here, above the both the Nifty is consolidating above the 50% of the both the channels, and Bank Nifty is below the 50% of both the channels. Nifty is above 2060 200 EMA. Bank Nifty is below 2060 and 200 EMA. So the ideology says that let's be very very stocks and sector specific for some time, until and unless both Nifty and Bank Nifty goes in one direction, and that direction could be any direction, whether it is upward or downward, or after consuming some time consolidating and both moves in the same direction. At least both have to have a similar sentiment. We cannot have a two distinguish way to distinguish sentiments within the Nifty and Bank Nifty and can predict where the market goes. Correct? For a trending market, you both need to have a same characteristics, because as I said, more than 36 or 37%, if you add insurance stocks also, then it goes way high. So close to 36 to 40% is a weightage of banks in Nifty. Correct? If you add all the insurance and all the stocks. Purely banking is 35-36% as of now. So a Nifty cannot trend in one direction without the Bank Nifty support. Correct? So someone, either Nifty should go down or Bank Nifty should go up. So right now, since the Bank Nifty and Nifty both are showing a very different characters, it is very difficult to predict that who will, uh, you know, take the charge and decide the trend, whether Nifty or Bank Nifty. Now, talking with respect to Nifty, 17,631 is the a good support come resistance for Nifty. Again, this is the same area where Nifty took support and it broke over here, then it took resistance, then again it gave a breakout, then again it broke down over here. And ever since this area, if you see, ever since this area, you see, we had only a single day closing above 17,631. The very next day, it could not cross the highs of this area of this candle, and ever since this time, market is below 17,631. Correct. Now it is consolidating above the 50% of both the trends. So if Nifty goes somewhere close to 17,631, we will have to see whether the markets are overbought or not, whether the PCR put call ratio is above 1.5 or 1.4 or not, whether the implied volatility is increasing, and the highest IV is 29. So if you see the IVs are rising to 27, 28, plus the markets are going overbought, and the FII net long position is going above 60%. When when the mark then Nifty is touching this area, right? In future, in coming days or weeks or next month, whenever. So whenever Nifty is above 17,631 or near 17,000, about to touch 17,631, you will have to see these factors which I have said. And if those values are increasing and Nifty is again taking the resistance, correct? I mean, close to the resistance area, which is 17,631. Again, we have to, because if the market is not overbought, if the IVs are low or the FI positions are low, and Nifty is closing above 17,631, we can say it is a trending market. The trend will continue. But if it is closing above 17,631 or it is about to touch 17,631, and if you see the markets are getting the overbought or the IVs are going high, then the time to stay cautious, right? So let's be very, very sector specific and stock specific for some time. Let both the indexes go and club together and show us the same character, because for trending market we need to have the support of both the indexes, right? So the purpose behind making today's video was that Nifty and Bank Nifty showing a very different character, which is not a very quite often scenario, at least for our markets are concerned, right? I hope this might help you some in some way. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.